we're at a point where because we don't have those traditional pillars of how we've defined the sport, where you know we meet up for club runs or we go to races or whatever the case is, there's a reset that's actually available to us right now, and we've seen more people enter into the sport, or enter into just honestly like movement in general. I was talking to a guy at my local bike shop, and he's like, I can't even keep things on the shelf. It's like months behind, like just to make sure that people have bikes, because there's such a huge demand for that. Um, and I don't know if that's the same in running stores as much, but like folks are experiencing exercise like they haven't in the past. And so what are the things that we absolutely need to like maintain and hold on to, versus what are some of those things that may have been the normal, 8-10 months ago, that was just like, that's cool, we'll leave that in 2020.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
interesting question. I think it's you want to welcome people ultimately, right? Like, yes, people are now discovering this new way of movement and getting out. So you want to create an environment to welcome them. So I think it's us rethinking of yes, what do community events look like? But if there is a running meetup, like what does that look like? Who are the people that are being invited? And are you creating an environment where people who maybe just want to walk can feel supported? Or yes, the person that wants to go and just put it all out there can go and do that. So I think it's really challenging ourselves to think of the spectrum of folks that are invited and are included. And it also starts with language too. I think language
Yeah.
is a really big piece. Like, how are you promoting things? What words are you using to welcome people? Who are you targeting? And thinking outside of, what Shannon was mentioning earlier of your bubble. It's really challenging yourself to think outside of that.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
a
it's a
good point.
really
Please,
opportune
Shane.
time right now, right, to kind of reassess and ask ourselves that question, before we are able to go back out in the world and run things the way that we have. Like the system right now that is set up in the running industry, is promotes whiteness. So how do we relook at our system while we're kind of, locked up in quarantine, and reevaluate how we can make change, and what are those things that we can do. One of the things that we have on the coalition's agenda is creating land acknowledgements at all events, because we are on stolen land. And, so that is acknowledging the beautiful land that we do run on in these events.
That's cool.
yeah, I hadn't thought about that at all, and it makes me think of like what do we celebrate in events, and what do we celebrate in running is equally as important as how we're messaging it.